The rain hammered down like God's own judgment, turning the streets of Seattle into rivers of regret. I slammed the car door, my heart pounding louder than the thunder that cracked the sky open. And there you were, Jackson, standing under the awning of our favorite dive bar, cigarette dangling from your lips like a guilty secret. "Logan, wait," you called, your voice breaking through the storm. But I couldn't. Not after what I'd just seen in that goddamn hotel window across the street. It was the third time, no. The fifth? The days blurred now, each one a cruel echo of the last, looping back on itself like a scratched vinyl record skipping the part where we fell apart. I'd wake up in our cramped Capitol Hill apartment, the scent of your coffee brewing, your hand brushing mine as you murmured good morning, and for a split second, I think it was real. Fresh. A chance to rewrite the ending where I caught you with him, tall, blonde, everything I wasn't, in that Fleabag room on Pike Street, your bodies tangled in a betrayal that tasted like ash in my throat. But it never stuck. The loop pulled me under every time, dragging me back to that moment in the rain, where the truth I'd buried deeper than my own doubts clawed its way out. You were the only one who ever noticed the cracks in me, Jackson. The way my smiles faltered, the shadows under my eyes that grew darker with each reset. Everyone else chalked it up to stress. My dead-end job at the indie bookstore, the endless gray skies. But you saw. And God, how I wished you hadn't. That first loop, or what I think was the first, started ordinary enough. We'd been together 3 years, you and me against the world. You, the rising architect with your sharp suits and sharper wit, sketching blueprints for high-rises that pierced the clouds. Me, the dreamer, shelving dog-eared paperbacks and scribbling poetry in the margins of order forms. We met at a Pride after-party in the U District, you spilling IPA on my Converse, me laughing it off because your eyes, those piercing blue eyes, lit up like the 4th of July. "Let me buy you new shoes," you'd said, and by dawn, we were tangled in your sheets, whispering promises that felt eternal. Fast forward to that rainy Tuesday in November. The kind of day where the city hunkers down, neon signs flickering like faulty memories. I was closing up the shop early, the bell jingling as I stepped into the downpour, my hoodie no match for the chill that seeped into my bones. You texted, "Running late, babe. Meet at the Rusty Anchor?" I grinned, stupidly optimistic, imagining your laugh cutting through the gloom as we split greasy fries and traded stories about nothing. But as I cut through the alley behind the hotel, Pike Street's seedy underbelly, where tourists never ventured, something pulled me like a magnet. A light in the third-floor window, curtains half-drawn. And there you were. With him. Your hands on his waist, lips crashing in a kiss that mirrored the ones you'd given me 1,000 times. The world tilted, my stomach lurching as if I'd been sucker-punched. I stumbled back, rain mixing with the hot sting of tears, and that's when the truck came, tires screeching on the wet asphalt, horn blaring too late. Impact. Blackness. Then. Reset. I jolted awake in bed, your arms slung over my waist, the alarm clock blinking 7 a.m. "Morning. Handsome," you mumbled, nuzzling my neck. My heart raced, bile rising. Was it a dream? No. The ache in my chest was too real, the phantom screech of brakes echoing in my skull. I played it cool, forcing a laugh as we showered together, your fingers tracing lazy circles on my skin. But doubt festered. By afternoon, I was back at that window, peeking like a ghost haunting my own life. Same scene. Same kiss. Same truck barreling toward me as I fled. Loop 2. 3. Each one sharper, the edges of reality fraying. I'd vary it, confront you early, over breakfast, my voice cracking. Who's the guy from the bar last week? You'd furrow your brow, all confusion and concern. What guy? Lo, you're scaring me. And I'd backpedal, chalk it up to paranoia, only to spiral into the same alley, the same betrayal unfolding like a scripted tragedy. Death came in flavors, the truck, a slip on the fire escape, once even my own hand slipping a bottle of pills in a haze of despair. But always, the reset. Back to your warmth, your lies. By the 7th, 8th, I was unraveling. Sleepless nights staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, wondering if this was purgatory, punishment for loving too fiercely in a world that chewed up queers like us and spat out the bones. Seattle's underbelly knew our kind. The hidden bars where drag queens lip-synced to Gloria Gaynor, the parks where furtive glances turned into hurried hookups under evergreens. We'd built our life in the cracks, your firm overlooking Elliott Bay, my shop tucked between a vegan cafe and a head shop. But cracks spread, don't they? And yours had widened enough for someone else to slip through. That loop, the one where things almost broke different. I waited for you after work. Leaned against the brick wall of your office building, hood up against the drizzle, a six-pack dangling from my fingers. You emerged, tie loosened, that easy grin lighting your face. Logan, what's this? Midweek date night. You pulled me close, kissing my temple, and for a heartbeat, I melted. Maybe it was all in my head. Maybe we could outrun it. We walked to the rusty anchor, arms linked, the city humming around us, honking taxis, the distant ferry horn, laughter spilling from doorways. Inside, the jukebox crooned Springsteen, and we claimed our booth, the one scarred with initials from lovers long gone. To us, you toasted, clinking bottles, your eyes holding mine with that intensity that always undid me. We talked about your latest project, a sustainable tower that would change the skyline, about the novel I was pretending to write. Your foot nudged mine under the table, a secret code, and I wanted to believe in it. In you. But as the night deepened, my phone buzzed. A wrong number text? No coordinates. A blurry photo from an unknown sender. The hotel. Room 312. I excused myself to the bathroom, splashing water on my face, staring at the mirror's fractured reflection. You're losing it, man, I whispered. But the pull was magnetic. I slipped out the back, into the rain-slicked streets, heart hammering a war drum. There it was again. The window aglow. You, shirt unbuttoned, his hands roaming. I pressed my palm to the glass. No, the brick breath fogging the air. Why? The word escaped, raw and ragged. You turned, eyes widening in the lamplight, but it was too late. The truck's roar drowned my scream, headlights blinding as it hydroplaned into me. Reset. Your voice. Morning. Handsome. I stopped counting after a while. Time lost its shape, days bleeding into a monotonous haze. I kiss you goodbye each morning, the routine a cruel comfort, then wander the city like a specter, mapping the loop's fault lines. The betrayal wasn't just the act, it was the prelude, the way your texts grew sporadic, your touches hesitant. You'd come home late, smelling of bourbon and excuses. Client dinner. I'd nod, swallow the acid, and wait for the alley to claim me. One loop, desperation clawed deep. I followed you that afternoon, tailing your sleek Audi through traffic-clogged arteries to a cafe in Belltown. You sat with him, Ethan. His name came later, whispered in fragments, laughing over lattes, your hand brushing his in a way that twisted the knife. I hid behind a newsstand, rain dripping from my cap, fists clenched until knuckles whitened. Confront? No, that led to arguments. Your denial a wall I couldn't breach, and the loop snapped shut. So I watched. Learned. The way your shoulders relaxed around him, the guilt flickering in your eyes when you thought no one saw. Back home, I rifled through your things while you showered. Receipts crumpled in pockets. Cologne I didn't recognize. Evidence piled like accusations. But proof meant nothing in the loop. It evaporated with each death. What was real? Us. The love we'd carved out in stolen moments, road trips to the Olympics, where we'd hike till our legs gave out, collapsing in tents to map constellations with our fingers. Or the quiet Sundays, you cooking pancakes while I read aloud from Kerouac, our laughter echoing off the walls. Yet the truth gnawed. I'd ignored the signs. Your distance after your promotion, the way you'd scroll through your phone at dinner, thumb pausing on notifications. Was it my fault? For clinging too tight? For the insecurities that surfaced in whispers after sex? Am I enough? You'd shush me, pull me closer, but words are wind. In that loop's evening, I broke. After the cafe stakeout, I returned to the bar early, downing shots until the world swam. You arrived, concern etching your face. Lo, what's wrong? I grabbed your collar, breath hot against your ear. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me there's no one else. Your eyes, those damn eyes, flickered. Logan, you're drunk. Let's go home. But I saw it. The flinch. The lie. We stumbled into the night, my arm around your waist, but the tether snapped. I veered toward the hotel, dragging you with me. Look, I slurred, pointing at the window. Empty. Of course, timing off. You pried my fingers loose, voice stern. Enough. You're seeing things. The argument escalated. Words like shrapnel, paranoid. Unstable. Too much. I shoved you, you shoved back, and in the scuffle, I slipped into traffic. Lights. Scream. Fade. Reset. But this time, something shifted. When I woke, your hand lingered on my cheek, thumb brushing a tear I didn't know I'd shed in sleep. You okay? You asked, voice thick. I nodded, but the loop's weight pressed heavier. You saw it, the fracture. And in that gaze, a glimmer of recognition. As if, across the veil, you remembered too. The loops blurred into a fever dream, each iteration stripping away another layer of the man I thought I was. By what felt like the 20th, though calendars mocked me, forever stuck on that damn Tuesday, I'd mapped the day's veins. The coffee shop stop where you lingered too long over your Americano. The architect's office where your assistant shot me sympathetic glances. The gym session you skipped for calls. I'd become a shadow, haunting the edges of our life, piecing together the affair like a detective in a noir flick. All fedoras and fatalism. Ethan wasn't a fling, he was deliberate. A junior partner at your firm, all Ivy League polish and easy charm. I'd seen the emails once. In a glitch of the loop, a quick rifle through your laptop while you dozed. Missed you last night. When can we steal another? Sent from his sleek MacBook. Time-stamped after our last date night. You'd replied soon. It's complicated. Complicated. That's what you called us when the fight started months ago. Back when the cracks were hairlines, not chasms. Work's crazy. Lo. Give me time. Time. The irony burned. That loop, I decided to play it soft. No confrontations, no alleys. Just us, rebuilding from the ground up. I called in sick to the bookstore, spent the morning in bed with you, sheets tangled, your head on my chest as I read from an old copy of Giovanni's Room. Baldwin's words hung heavy. Love as a quiet war, fought in the spaces between. You traced patterns on my skin, murmuring, "This is perfect," and it was, for hours. We ventured out for lunch at that hole-in-the-wall faux spot in the International District, slurping noodles under fluorescent lights, your knee pressed to mine. Laughter came easy, the kind that bubbled up unbidden, chasing shadows away. Afternoon found us wandering Pike Place, the market's chaos a bomb, fishmongers hurling salmon, street musicians strumming Dylan covers, the air thick with salt and spice. You bought me a bouquet of wildflowers from the stand near the original Starbucks, tucking a daisy behind my ear. "For my poet," you teased, and I leaned in, kissing you amid the bustle, tasting salt on your lips from the sea air. For a reckless moment, I believed the loop had mercy, that this time, we'd sidestep the precipice. But entropy waits for no man. Your phone buzzed as we queued for chowder, meeting rescheduled. You glanced, pocketed it quick, but the flinch was there. I pretended not to see, steering us toward the waterfront, where ferries cut through the sound like silver blades. We sat on a bench, watching gulls wheel overhead, your arm around my shoulders. "I love you, Jackson," I said, the words a lifeline tossed into the abyss. You squeezed tighter. "Love you too, Lo." Always, dusk crept in, painting the sky bruise purple. You checked your watch. "Gotta head back to the office, loose ends, the old script." I nodded, throat tight, and watched you go, your figure receding into the crowd. Instead of following, I wandered alone, the flowers wilting in my hand. The city pulsed with indifferent life, couples hand in hand, joggers pounding pavement, a drag performer busking near the carousel. I ended up at the bookstore anyway, not to work, but to lose myself in the stacks. Fingering spines of forgotten loves, "Call me by your name," Maurice tears pricked. Was this my curse? To relive the unraveling? Powerless, night fell, and the pull returned. Not to the hotel, but home. I beat you there, dimmed the lights, lit candles scavenged from the kitchen drawer. When you walked in, tie askew, rain-damp hair curling at your temples, I was waiting with wine. "Surprise," I said, voice steady as I could manage. You paused in the doorway, surprise softening to something tender. "What's all this?" We ate takeout on the couch, pad thai from our go-to spot, your head in my lap as I fed you bites, fingers combing your hair. Felt like courtship reborn, fragile as spun glass. Later, in bed, your body moved over mine with a reverence I'd missed. Slow, deliberate, like you were memorizing me. Whispers in the dark, "You're everything." Climax crashed like waves, leaving us breathless, limbs entwined. Sleep came easy, your heartbeat a lullaby against my ear. No loop, no reset. Dawn broke with birdsong filtering through the blinds, your side of the bed still warm. But when I opened my eyes fully, the clock read 7 a.m. Same Tuesday. Your murmur, Morning, handsome. The flowers on the nightstand were fresh again, the sheets crisp. Betrayal's ghost laughed. I delayed it, stretched the day like taffy, but the loop was inexorable. That night, as you worked late, I tailed you to the hotel. The window framed it all, you and Ethan, urgency born of stolen time. I didn't run this time. Stood frozen, rain mingling with silent sobs, until security chased me off. No truck, just the slow poison of heartbreak, leading me to the bridge over Lake Union. One step too far. Cold water closing over. Reset. The next ones were experiments in cruelty. Loop 23. I told you everything at breakfast, spilling the loop's madness over oatmeal. I'm stuck, Jackson. Reliving this day, watching you cheat, dying over and over. You stared, spoon midway to your mouth, then laughed, nervous, disbelieving. Lo, you need help. Therapy. Maybe, by evening, you'd canceled our plans, called a friend to check on me. Isolation. Then the alley, the truck. Loop 24. Sabotage. I slashed your tires before work, watched you fume as Uber delays piled up. You arrived at the hotel late. Too late for Ethan? But no. The window glowed anyway, your silhouette unmistakable. Despair hit like a freight train. I drove to the coast that night, waves crashing as I swallowed handfuls of gravel from the beach. Choked. Drowned in shallows. You started noticing, though, in fragments. One loop, as I stirred sugar into your coffee with trembling hands, you caught my wrist. Logan, talk to me. You've been distant. Your eyes searched mine, that blue piercing the fog. I wanted to shatter, to beg you to remember. It's you, I whispered. You're breaking me. Confusion clouded your face, but you held on, pulling me into a hug that smelled of home. Whatever it is, we'll fix it. Promise hung, sweet and hollow. Emboldened, I pushed further. That afternoon, I showed up at your office unannounced, badge clipped to my belt like a PI. Your assistant waved me in. You rose from your desk, blueprints scattered like fallen leaves. Lo, everything okay? I locked the door, paced, words tumbling. The affair, the hotel, the loop. You denied, of course, delusional, stressed, but doubt flickered. Ethan? He's just a colleague. I saw the photo on your desk. You two at a firm retreat, arms slung casual, smiles too bright. The fight spilled into the hall, voices echoing off glass walls. Colleagues pretended not to hear. You grabbed my arm. Come on, let's go home. But home was the loop's cage. We drove in silence, radio droning Adele's heartbreak anthems. At the apartment, I packed a bag, clothes, books, the daisy chain from a forgotten loop, and stormed out. Rain lashed the windshield as I aimed for the highway, tears blurring taillights. A semi jackknifed in the merge lane. Metal twisted. And reset. But your touch that morning, firmer, lingering. I had the weirdest dream, you said, brow furrowed. About you, yelling in the rain. My blood ran cold. Was the veil thinning? Did you glimpse the echoes? Hope sparked, fragile as bioluminescence. I leaned in, kissing you deep, pouring every unspoken plea into it. Today matters, I breathed. You nodded, oblivious yet attuned. We dressed slow, made love against the bathroom sink, steam fogging the mirror. Work called, but I begged off. Call in too. One day for us. You hesitated, meetings, deadlines, but relented. Phone silenced. We holed up, binging old movies on the couch. Broke back, tears streaming as Ennis whispered, I swear. Your hand found mine during the twist scene, squeezing. That's not us, you said. We get the happy ending. Afternoon bled into board games. Monopoly, you the ruthless tycoon, me bankrupting you with hotels on Baltic. Laughter peeled back layers, revealing the boy I'd fallen for, the one who danced barefoot in the kitchen to Prince, who sketched my sleeping face in charcoal. Dinner was impromptu, steaks grilled on the tiny balcony, city lights twinkling below like conspirators. Wine flowed, confessions too, your fears of plateauing at work, my envy of your drive. You're my anchor, Jackson, I said, vulnerability raw. You kissed my knuckles. And you're my spark. Night deepened, bodies aligning in the dark. Passion reignited, fierce and forgiving. Afterward, sated, you traced my scars, literal and not. Tell me what's haunting you. I teetered on the edge, the truth a boulder on my tongue. Betrayal, I finally said. Mine, maybe. Yours, definitely. Your breath hitched. Low, but sleep claimed us before the storm. 7 a.m. Reset. Your eyes, though haunted now, mirroring mine. Another dream, you muttered. The same one, the loop trembled. The dreams were bleeding through now, seeping into your side of the veil like ink in water. You didn't say it outright, but I saw the toll, the way you'd pause mid-sentence, staring into your coffee as if it held prophecies. The hesitant touches, like you feared I'd shatter. Loop 30-something. I'd lost precision. Began with you jolting awake beside me, sweat slicked, gasping. Logan. I saw you die, your voice cracked, hand clutching mine like a lifeline. My pulse thundered. What did you see? You shook it off, chalking it to too much takeout, but the seed was planted. We moved through the morning ritual breakfast, kisses, goodbyes with an undercurrent of electricity, every glance charged. At the bookstore, I shelved volumes on quantum weirdness, devouring passages on time dilation, eternal returns. Nietzsche's abyss stared back, but so did possibility. If you were glimpsing the loops, maybe together we could shatter it. That afternoon, I texted you, lunch, my place. You replied instantly, on my way. No delays, no excuses. When you arrived, bearing sandwiches from the deli on First, your face was a map of worry lines. We ate cross-legged on the living room floor, knees bumping, the space between us humming. The dreams, you started, setting your plate aside. They're vivid. You in the rain, screaming my name. A truck. Blood. I froze, fork midway. And me, with someone. In a hotel, your eyes met mine. Raw. It's not real, right? Tell me it's not. The truth perched on my lips, a bird ready to flee. It's more real than anything, I confessed then, haltingly, the loops, the betrayals witnessed ad nauseum, the deaths that punctuated each failure. You listened, unblinking, color draining from your face. When I finished, silence stretched, taut as a wire. Then, Ethan, not a question. Admission hung heavy, your shoulders slumping under its weight. It started 3 months ago. A stupid kiss at the retreat. One thing led. God. Lo. I never meant. Rage surged. Hot and familiar. But I reined it. This was the fracture point. One wrong word, and the loop would clamp shut. Why? My voice was steady. A miracle. You scrubbed your face, elbows on knees. I was scared. The promotion, the pressure, felt like I was disappearing into the role. You were always so steady. And Ethan, he saw the me before all this, the wild kid from Texas who dreamed big. It was escape, not love. But it poisoned us. Tears tracked your cheeks, mirroring mine. I ended it last week. Swear, last week, in loop time, an eternity. But your remorse rang true, cracking the ice around my heart. We sat there, hands linked, the cities hum a distant lullaby. If this is real, you said finally, the loop, we break it together. No more secrets. Hope flickered, tentative. I nodded, pulling you close. The kiss was salt and redemption, bodies pressing as if to fuse souls. Emboldened, we planned. No work that day, we called in feigned flu. Instead, a ritual. Write the truth on paper. Burn it in the sink. Ashes swirled down the drain like exorcised demons. You penned your confessions, the affair's timeline, the guilt that gnawed nightly, while I scrawled the loop's horrors, deaths inked in frantic script. Flames danced, acrid smoke curling, and with it, a weight lifted. Now what? You asked, voice hoarse. We walked the city, hand in hand, reclaiming streets we'd let the loop taint. Through Volunteer Park, where cherry blossoms defied November's chill, petals drifting like confetti. You pushed me on the swing set near the conservatory, laughter pealing as I kicked skyward. Higher, I yelled, and you obliged, your grin boyish. At the reservoir, we skipped stones, ripples spreading like possibilities. What if this works? You murmured, arm around my waist. What if we get forever? Dusk painted us gold as we reached Gas Works Park, the old gasification plant's skeletons looming like industrial ghosts. We climbed the hill, sprawling on the grass, skyline sprawling below, space needle-piercing clouds, fairies dotting the dark water. Your head in my lap, I wove wildflower crowns, crowning you king of our fractured realm. I see you, Jackson, I said, echoing the title's unspoken plea. The truth you couldn't face us, imperfect but worth it. You sat up, eyes shimmering. And I see you, lo, the fighter I almost lost. Night wrapped us, stars pricking the canopy. We made love there, hidden in shadows, urgent and unhurried, clothes shed in layers, skin chilled then warmed by touch. Your whispers, mine. Always. Climax built slow, cresting in shared gasps, the earth anchoring us. Afterward, curled against you, your heartbeat synced with mine. No dreams tonight, you promised. Sleep came, deep and dreamless. 7 a.m. The clock blinked. But you didn't stir with alarm. Instead, eyes opening slow, you smiled genuine, unshadowed. Morning, handsome, no tremor. I bolted up, checking the calendar on my phone. Wednesday. The loop. Broken, elation crashed, but wariness lingered. We tested it, coffee run to the corner shop, where the barista remembered my order without prompt. Your office, emails from yesterday, Ethan's resignation notice glaring in your inbox. He quit, you said, stunned. After our talk last week, reality stitched itself. Seamless. Days blurred into weeks. Cautious joy blooming. We therapy dove. Couple sessions in a cozy Belltown office. Unpacking the affair's rubble. You owned it, no deflections. While I confronted my loops-born paranoia, the fear that love was a house of cards. It wasn't just you, I admitted one session. I pulled away too, buried in books to avoid feeling small. Vulnerability bonded us tighter, scars becoming stories. Christmas approached. Seattle dusted in rare snow. We strung lights on our balcony. The tree a Charlie Brown special, lopsided, adorned with popcorn strands and ornaments from our first year. A tiny rainbow flag, a sketch of the Olympics you'd drawn. You proposed a trip. Portland? New Year's. Just us. I agreed, heart swelling. But the past clawed back. New Year's Eve. En route, Amtrak clicking through evergreens, you got the call. Ethan. Drunk dialing from a bar. Miss you. One drink. Your face tightened. Phone clutched white-knuckled. No, you said, firm, then hung up. But doubt seeded, what if? I saw it in your averted gaze. The old pull. Portland welcomed us with fireworks over the Willamette. But tension simmered. Hotel room overlooking the river. Champagne chilling. We dressed up, you in a sharp blazer, me in slacks that hugged just right, and hit the streets. Food carts steaming with falafel. Crowds pulsing to bass-heavy beats. At midnight, under a sky exploding in color, you kissed me fierce. Happy New Year, lo. To truths faced, back in the room. Celebration turned carnal, mirrors reflecting our frenzy. Bodies slick with sweat and champagne spills. But dawn brought hangover haze, and your phone lit with Ethan's texts. Come on, Jax. Remember Bali? Photos attached. You two on a beach. Prius. Arms around waists. Sun-kissed and carefree. I saw red. Delete it. Voice steal. You did, but the damage bloomed. It's nothing, you insisted. Ancient history. Argument ignited. Why keep his number? Why answer? Accusations flew. You're not over him. Escalating to shoves. Glasses shattering. You stormed out. Into the snowy streets. I followed. Barefoot in pajamas. Slipping on ice. Jackson. Wait. The car came from nowhere. Slick roads. Driver distracted. Clipped you first. Sending you sprawling. I lunged, pushing you clear. But momentum carried me into the grill. Impact. Pain. Black. Then. 7 a.m. Tuesday. Your arm over mine. Morning. Handsome. The loop returned. Vicious. But now. You woke screaming my name. Eyes wild. Not again. Logan. The dream. It's you. Dying for me. The veil tore wider. We had glimpses. But the curse held fast. Resets came swifter now. The loop a tightening noose. Each iteration laced with your fragmented memories. You'd wake gasping. Clutching me like flotsam in a storm. The car. Portland. You saved me. I'd soothe. But terror mirrored in your eyes. We were both trapped. The truth a shared specter. It's real, I'd affirm. And you'd nod. Resolve hardening. Then we fight it. Every time, strategy evolved. No more avoidance. We dove headlong into the betrayal's heart. Mornings began with debriefs. What do you remember? You'd recount dream deaths, the truck, the bridge, now the snowy skid, while I filled gaps, our voices overlapping in frantic harmony. Evidence hunts followed. Your phone scoured for Ethan's ghosts. Deleted threads exhumed like digital archaeology. He won't stop, you admitted one loop, face ashen. The retreat. It awakened something. Validation. But it's poison. We confronted him directly that loop. Stormed your office mid-morning. You and I united. A force. Ethan looked up from his drafting table, all polished poise cracking at our entrance. Jax? Logan? You laid it bare. It's over. For good. Stay away. His laugh was bitter, eyes flicking to me with disdain. He doesn't get it, does he? The pressure you're under. I do. Venom. I stepped forward, voice low. He chooses me. Every time. The air crackled. Security escorted him out hours later, box in hand. Victory tasted sweet, but the loop sneered. Afternoon brought the hotel pull, empty room mocking us. Despair led to the rooftop that night, wind howling as I teetered on the edge. Your shout yanked me back. Logan! But gravity won. Fall. Reset. Undeterred. We innovated. One loop. Therapy preempted. A shaman in Fremont, all crystals and sage, who spoke of karmic echoes and soul contracts. We burned herbs in our sink, chanted affirmations under the hum of I-5 traffic. Release the pain, she intoned. Laughter bubbled, absurdity bonding us, but the ritual fizzled. Ethan cornered you at a coffee run instead, whispers turning to slaps when you rebuffed. I intervened, fists flying in the parking lot. Cops. Bail. Then the alley escape, trucks embrace. Your dreams deepened, vivid tapestries of our alternate failures. I see the good ones too, you confessed one reset, fingers tracing my jaw. Portland fireworks, the park swings. Moments we almost kept, hope's ember glowed. We chased them, recreated stolen joys. Mornings in bed, lazy and lewd. Afternoons exploring hidden gems. The underground tunnels of Pioneer Square, echoing with prohibition ghosts. Evenings at jazz dives in the Central District. Your hand on my thigh under the table. Saxophone wails underscoring our vows. But Ethan loomed. Poltergeist. His texts escalated. You'll regret this. One loop. He waited at the apartment, flowers in hand like a suitor from hell. Talk to Jax alone, he sneered. I barred the door. He's mine. Brawl ensued. Furniture splintered. Your return to chaos. You chose me, of course, but the rift widened. That night, reconciliation sex turned desperate. Your body a battlefield of apologies. I face it now, you gasped, buried deep. Only you. Dawn held, Wednesday flickered, but Ethan's car tailed us to brunch. Crash. Reset. Climax brewed in loop 47, or thereabouts. We knew the beats. Morning merger, evidence purge, confrontation. But this time, ritualized. Dressed sharp, you in your best suit. Me in the leather jacket from our first date, we hit your firm like Avengers. Ethan in the boardroom, pitching to execs. You interrupted, voice booming. Before we proceed, a personal matter. The room froze as you eviscerated him. Affair exposed, ethics breached, resignation demanded on the spot. Applause from colleagues. No, stunned silence. Then HR summons. Ethan bolted, face purple, but not before hissing at me. You'll pay. We fled to the waterfront, adrenaline surging, collapsing on a pier bench. Gulls screeched overhead, waves lapping pilings. It's done, you breathed, head thrown back. Laughter erupted, manic and freeing. We kissed there, salty and fierce, hands roaming under coats. To breaking free, I toasted with a stolen beer from a nearby vendor. Afternoon melted into hedonism. Hotel. Not that one, but a boutique in Belltown. Room with a view of the Needle. We christened it thoroughly shower steam. Silk sheets rumpled, your moans echoing off exposed brick. Evening brought dinner at Canlis, the city's jewel, perch above the lake, flames dancing in the hearth. You ordered oysters, champagne flutes clinking. To truths, you said, eyes locked. Midway, your phone rang, Ethan. You answered, speaker on. What? His slur. Coming for you. Both, threat laced with booze. We hung up, but unease coiled. Ignore him, I urged. But you couldn't, guilt's hook. Post-dinner, strolling back, shadows lengthened. Ethan emerged from an alley, eyes wild, bottle in hand. You think you can erase me? Lunge. You shoved him back. I swung. Chaos, fists, curses, rain starting anew. He swung wild, bottle shattering on cobblestones. Glass sliced my arm, blood hot, but you tackled him, pinning until sirens wailed. Cops hauled him away, cuffs glinting. Stalking charge, the officer said. Victory. We patched me up at urgent care, your hands steady on gauze. Hero, you murmured, kissing the bandage. Homeward, the apartment glowed welcoming. We made love slow, wounds forgotten, bodies a liturgy of forgiveness. I see it all now, you whispered in the afterglow. The loops. Your pain. My fault. Tears mingled. We face it together. Sleep descended. Profound. Tuesday. 7 o'clock. But your embrace tightened. Voice muffled. Not letting go. Variations piled. Loops where Ethan vanished pre-confrontation. Us thriving in bubble bliss. Others where he sabotaged deeper emails to your boss. Rumors of instability. Deaths diversified. Poison in our wine, his doing. Heart attack mid-argument from stress. Each reset. Your memories solidified. Resolve stealing. He's the loop's anchor, you theorized one morning. Over eggs. Betrayal incarnate. Cut him out completely. Radical loop we moved. Packed overnight bags. Fled Seattle for Vancouver border hop. No passports needed for the drive. Rain-slicked I-5 north. Evergreens blurring. New start, you said, hand on my thigh. Motel in Blaine. Neon buzzing. We explored. Beaches lashed by straight winds. Pubs with fish and chips. No Ethan. No pull. Days stretched. Wednesday. Thursday, your firm calling frantic. Quit, I urged. You did. Voicemail resignation. Bliss peaked. Hikes in the Cascades. Snowshoeing virgin powder. Nights in chalets with roaring fires. Your sketches filled a journal, not buildings, but us. Intertwined on trails. Laughing in steam rooms. This is truth, you said. Charcoal smudged fingers on my cheek. Lovemaking by candlelight. Tender explorations. Your body a landscape I mapped anew. But the loop rebelled. Friday morning. Coffee in hand. The world inverted. 7 o'clock Tuesday. Seattle apartment. Your cry, no! We wept then. First time. Raw howls echoing. Almost, I sobbed. So close. Desperation birthed the plan. Lure the beast. Invite Ethan over post-confrontation loop. After his firing. Talk it out, you proposed. End the cycle with closure. I balked danger but acquiesced. He arrived sullen. Scotch demanded. Living room tense. You and I on the couch. Him in the armchair. Why? You asked. He sneered. Because you needed saving from him. Me. Finger jabbed. Clingy. Small-town dreamer holding you back. Fury ignited. I rose. He's choosing. Ethan laughed, pulling a flask. To choices. He drank deep. Offered. Poisoned? No. But the flask slipped. Shattering. Scuffle. He grabbed a lamp. Swung. You blocked. I charged. Tumble. Neck snap on the coffee table. His. Cops ruled accident. Self-defense. Relief washed, but guilt shadowed. That night, cleansed, we burned his effects, notes, photos in the fireplace. Ashes to wind. Sleep came, your body shield against nightmares. Reset. But Ethan's absence lingered in your eyes. He's gone, you said. For good. We tested. Confrontations sans violence. Therapy marathons. Even a priest at St. Mark's, blessings over holy water splashed. Loops whittled. Deaths rarer. 1. We reached Wednesday clean. Thursday teetering. Climax loomed. The rooftop. Rain lashed. Where first death echoed. The rooftop called like a siren's song. That loop, the 50th? 100th? Dawn breaking with ominous clarity. Your dreams had woven a tapestry of warnings. The edge? Logan. Don't go near. But the pull was tidal. Inexorable. We'd fortified. Confronted Ethan a dozen ways. Excised his shadow through firings. Restraining orders. Even a cross-country feint to LA. Where we crashed with queer artist friends. Painting murals of phoenixes rising. Yet the loop persisted. A stubborn ghost demanding final reckoning. That morning, resolve armored us. Breakfast was sacrament. Pancakes stacked high. Syrup sticky sweet. Your fork feeding me bites between kisses. Whatever comes, you vowed. Palm over my heart. I face it with you. The truth. The mess of me. The pain I caused. I nodded. Throat tight. Only you see me whole. Jackson. Loops or no. We dressed deliberate. You in that navy sweater hugging your chest. Me in the jacket scarred from brawls past. No work. No distractions. A day for us. We wandered Capitol Hill. Hand in hand. Reclaiming the neighborhood's pulse. Coffee at Analog. Where baristas high-fived our pride pins. Window shopping at Elliott Bay Book Company. My fingers lingering on spines we'd read aloud. Laughter flowed freer. The loops weight lighter with your memories bolstering mine. Remember the Vancouver motel? You teased. Nuzzling my neck in a quiet alley. Skinny dipping in that frigid pool? I grinned. Pulling you close. How could I forget? You yelped like a banshee. Afternoon led to California Anderson Park. The fountain spray catching sun like diamonds. We picnicked on the grass, cheese, crackers, illicit wine from a thermos, your head in my lap as I recited E. Cummings, I carry your heart with me. Your eyes shimmered. That's us. Indelible. A rainbow flag fluttered from a nearby pole. Wind whipped. And for a heartbeat, The world held its breath. No shadows. No Ethan. But dusk stirred unrest. Texts from unknown numbers, harassment, you deleted but unease coiled. The rooftop, I murmured as we walked home, Broadway's bustle fading. You stopped, gripping my arms. No. We rewrite it. Urgency sparked. Instead of ascending, we descended to the underground, Pioneer Square's speakeasy vibe. Dim lights, jazz trio crooning Billie Holiday. We danced close, bodies swaying, your breath hot on my ear. Feel that? You whispered. Real. Ours. The kiss deepened. Patrons whooping encouragement. Queer haven. After all. Back above ground. Rain threatened. But we dodged into our building. Elevator ride a frenzy of touches. Buttons half undone by the time doors opened. Apartment. Clothes shed in a trail. Bed claiming us. Lovemaking was revelation. Slow builds to frenzied peaks. Your name a mantra on my lips. Jackson. See me. You did. Eyes locked. Always. Low. The truth you hid, your fear of losing me. It mirrors mine. I ran to Ethan from it. Post-climax haze. We talked till stars wheeled. Vulnerabilities laid bare. Your Texas youth, closeted jock. Beatings for acting gay. Forged walls I chipped at unknowingly. My Seattle roots, single mom. Absent dad bred abandonment terror. We heal together, you said. Fingers laced. Sleep beckoned. Your form curled to mine. Tuesday. 7 o'clock. But the clock. Hesitated? No. Reset. Your sobs shattered silence. The rooftop. Rain. You fell. Full memory now. The loop's architect unmasked. We rose. Battle-worn but unbroken. Last stand, I declared. Plan coalesced. Confront the origin. The hotel. The window. The betrayal's birthplace. Midday. We marched Pike Street. Arm in arm. Storm clouds gathering. The hotel loomed. Faded marquee flickering. No reservation. We bluffed the desk clerk. Ascended to 312. Door ajar. Fate's wink. Inside. Empty. But echoes. You paced. Ghosts tangible. Here. Where I broke us. Kneeling. You retrieved a forgotten cufflink. Yours. Engraved J&L. Symbol. I can't change the past, you said. Voice breaking. But I choose now. You. Tears flowed. I pulled you up. Foreheads touching. The truth I couldn't face? Loving you meant risking shatter. Loops forced it. Catharsis crested. Kiss sealing vows. Downstairs. Rain unleashed. Ellie called no truck. We stood in it. Drenched. Laughing through sobs. Break it! You yelled to heavens. Sirens wailed, not for us. A crash blocks away. Ethan's car. Totaled against a pole. News later. DUI. Fleeing after a bar fight. Dead on impact. Anchor severed. We ran home. Soaked to marrow. Peeling layers in the hall. Tub filled steaming. Bodies submerged. Wounds. Literal from glass shards. Figurative from loops tended. Wednesday? You asked. Soapy hands on my chest. Dawn confirmed. Clock ticked forward. Calendar. November 19th? No, 17th. Days lost. But gained. Reality reknit. Threads stronger. Ethan's death closed chapters. Your firm promoting you sans drama. My bookshop thrived. I submitted poems to lit mags. The Stranger Publishing 1. Loop's End. Therapy continued, not as fix, but forge, couples and solo. Unpacking closet's debris. Months unfurled. Spring in Seattle. Cherry blossoms rioting pink. We adopted a mutt from the shelter, Rusty, for the bar walks in Discovery Park, his leash tethering us. Pride swelled the streets, rainbows reclaiming asphalt. You sketched our future, a house in Queen and garden for my wildflowers, office for your designs. One evening, rooftop, not Perils, but ours. Building's access key procured, we ascended at sunset, city sprawling golden. Wine uncorked, you knelt. Logan Hale, you've looped through my hell and back. Marry me? Face every truth, every dawn. Together, ring simple, silver band etched with I carry. I yes-ed through tears, pulling you up to the ledge, safe now, kissing as gulls cried approval. Years later, vows exchanged in a backyard ceremony. Queer choir, mom's tearful toast, your Texas kin thawing slow. Honeymoon in the San Juans, kayaks slicing inlets, nights under aurora-veiled skies. Life's not loop-free, fights flare, doubts whisper, but we face them, truths bared like stars. You saw me, Jackson, when I couldn't. The man beneath fear, worthy of forever. And in your eyes, I found mine, flawed, fierce, loved, human, after all. In the end, the loop taught mercy, not erasure, but embrace. Betrayal's scar fades, romance's bloom endures. We carry each other's hearts, no resets needed. Just us, against whatever dawn breaks next.